CreepyCorner stories.
Hey folks, before we dive into tonight's stories, I want to give a huge thank you to Kieran Tibbetts, Lisa Collin, 85, and Dark Impulse for supporting the channel and being amazing members. So if you enjoy what you hear tonight, you're in the right place. Now, grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's step into another amazing night. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. What kind of story hits you the hardest? The ones that feel too real, or the ones that could actually happen to someone you know? There's a dark web Christmas clown who streams a murder every New Year. This time, he was filming my town. Okay, before anybody calls BS, I swear everything I'm about to type actually happened. I've been posting on Reddit for years, lurking around r/nosleep, r/true off my chest, even those creepy iceberg videos on TikTok that act like they totally know the truth. I always thought stories about the dark web were exaggerated, just edgy YouTube storytelling. But this New Year's, something happened that made my stomach drop in the kind of way you don't recover from. And I think whoever or whatever the Christmas clown is, he saw me. So this starts about 2 weeks before New Year's Eve. I was home from college, bored out of my mind, scrolling TikTok at like 3 a.m. My For You page kept giving me those animated, real horror stories narrated like Luna, or the ones from the Here's My Story channel, dramatic background music, neon text, creepy thumbnails. One video said, "There's a Christmas clown on the dark web who streams a murder every New Year, and if your town is picked, you'll know." The comments were joking. Ohio is next, bro. I live in Florida, so I'm safe. Plot twist, he's in your house. Typical internet humor. I laughed, but I clicked the next part anyway, obviously. Then part 3 mentioned people seeing clown stickers showing up around cities a few days before the stream. McDonald's napkins, Starbucks cups, Burger King bathroom stalls, like some twisted advertising campaign. That night, I went to drive through McDonald's. Don't judge. It was 3:15 a.m. The ice cream machine was predictably broken. While I'm waiting for my fries, I notice a tiny holiday sticker on the window, like those decals with snowflakes, except there's a clown face, wearing a Santa hat. Not cute, not cartoonish, more like someone traced an actual human face, then stretched the smile too wide. I actually Snapchatted it to my friends, jokingly captioning, "Dark web clown marketing department going crazy." Nobody replied because everyone normal was asleep. A few days later, my town suddenly started trending on Twitter, X whatever, because that same exact sticker was showing up everywhere, like actually everywhere, stuck to light poles outside our local Starbucks, slapped across a stop sign near my high school, even taped over the little Caesar's Pizza Box logo inside the store. Someone made a TikTok compilation with creepy music and true story written in red font, and it hit 400,000 views overnight. Everyone in my town turned into conspiracy detectives. Local Facebook moms were losing their minds. Even our tiny suburban newspaper tweeted about it like it was breaking news. I still thought it was a prank, just viral marketing or something lame. But then my phone buzzed. Snapchat notification from an unknown account. No Bitmoji, no mutual friends, just the username, New Year Smile. The message said, "Streaming soon," and attached was a picture of my McDonald's drive-thru window, the exact one I'd gone to. I recognized the street, the same ice-covered bushes, the same yellow M reflecting in the glass. Except this photo had a timestamp burned into the lower right corner. December 31st, 11:57 p.m., which made no sense because it was still December 22nd. My stomach dropped straight through my body. Like, normally I'd brush off random creepy accounts, right? Internet weirdos exist everywhere. But that timestamp felt like a countdown. And the worst part, I didn't take that picture, meaning someone else was watching me. That night, something else happened. Maybe this is the moment I should have told somebody. My parents, police, literally anyone. But part of me kept thinking this was all just some weird prank trending on social media. I was lying in bed, doom scrolling, and I heard a notification from Twitter. Someone mentioned me in a thread. At New Year Smile, tagged you in a post, and it was a short video. No caption, no hashtags, just footage of a snowy street at night, filmed from a distance. You couldn't recognize faces, but you could hear footsteps crunching and cars driving past like normal suburban life. Except at the end, the camera turned slowly toward a street sign. My street sign. Like someone was standing at the end of the block recording, just standing there, watching. That's when I realized something. This wasn't marketing. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a fake horror story, like the animated ones on YouTube. Whoever this clown person was, they were here, in my town, right now, and the countdown was still ticking. 11:57 p.m. New Year's Eve. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. If anyone has ever heard of this before, please tell me this has happened somewhere else. I didn't tell anyone about the video tagging my street. I kept thinking maybe someone I knew was messing with me. But every hour that passed, the whole town got stranger, like the world itself was slightly tilted, and everyone else just didn't notice yet. The day after the post, I was sitting in my room doom scrolling, pretending to be fine. My window faces the front yard, and I kept catching myself glancing between blinds every few seconds, like I was waiting for something to pop up. Around lunchtime, I checked Snapchat again, not because I wanted to, because every time I looked away, I had this icy feeling someone was trying to get my attention. There was another message, same account, New Year Smile, don't blink tonight. Attached was a new picture, not Starbucks, not McDonald's, my house, taken from the sidewalk, angled upward at my window, my bedroom light glowing through the blinds. No timestamp this time, just a caption written in red text, like those edgy Instagram stories. Preparation stream coming soon. Yes, it was misspelled. My hands shook. I felt this weird numb cold in my legs, like circulation just stopped. I immediately locked every door, every window, even checked the basement, like something was waiting down there breathing. I didn't go on Snapchat the rest of the day. That night, something moved outside. I had my phone, brightness turned down, staring at TikTok, pretending the world wasn't unraveling like a cheap Christmas sweater. Then I noticed something so minor, so stupid, that it shouldn't have been scary at all. My motion-activated porch light kept flickering on, not once, not twice, but steadily, like someone was walking back and forth, pacing just outside the front door. I muted everything on my phone just to listen. Click, pause, click, pause, over and over. Nobody rang the bell, no shadows through the window, but the motion sensor doesn't lie. Something was out there. The police station in my town literally closes at 10 p.m. like a gas station, so even if I called, it would be handled by some regional hotline. I imagined waiting on hold while something stared at my porch camera, smiling. So I didn't call. I just stayed pressed against my wall, listening to the clicks, trying not to breathe loud enough for whatever was outside to hear. The next morning was worse. My mom was making coffee in the kitchen and called out, "Honey, did you tape something on the mailbox?" My spine literally froze. I walked outside and saw a tiny laminated card stuck to the mailbox flap. A Christmas card, except instead of a cute snowman or reindeer, it was that clown face again. Hyper-realistic, stretched smile. But this time, I swear its eyes were looking up, like the photographer took a picture from above. The whites of the eyes were yellowish, like they were reflecting light from a phone screen. Inside the card, someone wrote in thick black marker, 12:31:11:57 p.m. Stay tuned. There was a QR code printed in the corner. My mom joked, "Is this some TikTok thing?" She literally laughed, like it was harmless, quirky teenage prank culture. I wanted to burn the thing, but instead, I slid it into my desk drawer and locked it. I don't even know why. Maybe part of me thought I'd need proof of something horrible later. That evening, the whole town changed. By 6 p.m., everyone was talking about the mystery clown cards. Someone posted on Instagram stories a compilation of at least 25 found that day. Attached to the Dunkin' drive-through speaker, taped over the Walmart price scanner, wedged into Christmas wreaths. At Target, even one stuck right onto a police cruiser's window. People in my school group chat joked about ARG marketing, but one girl wrote something that gave me chills so heavy I had to put my phone down. There's a rumor someone found one at Evergreen Cemetery, and the soil under it was freshly dug. Another replied, "That wasn't soil. They said it smelled like bleach." Someone else, "My cousin said there were footprints leading away from it. Bare footprints." My heart actually hurt reading that, like squeezing pain. Later that night, I made the mistake of scanning the QR. I don't know what possessed me to do it. Curiosity? Fear? A desperate need to prove this was some elaborate joke. My phone warned, "Unknown link, may be unsafe," and I scanned anyway. It opened a blank black web page with a streaming countdown clock. Red font, glitching numbers, 8 days, 16 hours, 44 minutes. Then a message at the bottom faded onto the screen, one letter at a time, like typing. "This year's stream, your town." I backed out so fast, my phone slipped from my hands and hit the floor. When I picked it up, new text appeared, like it was still connected to the site somehow. "Thank you for confirming your location." No browser, no window open, just a floating text box, like an overlay on my home screen. And then my camera turned on by itself. Front-facing, my reflection in that dim bedroom light looked terrified. Wide eyes, face pale, like a glitchy video call. And over my reflection, just faint, like smudged transparency, was that smiling clown mouth, slowly stretching wider across the screen, pixel by pixel. No sound, just a faint, buzzing static, like someone breathing too close to a microphone. I covered the camera with my thumb and forced a hard shutdown. But the worst part came after I lay in bed shaking, just staring into the dark, listening for footsteps outside. Time passed so slowly, I thought my heart would beat through my ribs. Around 3 a.m., footsteps finally came. Not on the porch, not on the driveway, directly beneath my bedroom window. Slow, dragging sounds, like someone walking through snow with wet socks. One step, then a long slide, like someone barefoot out there, dragging their foot through the icy grass. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then, from outside, clear as a whisper through the glass, 11:57, my entire body froze. Another breathy murmur. Don't be late. I don't remember the next few moments. I think I blacked out from fear, or my brain just shut itself down like emergency mode. When I woke up hours later, my phone notification panel was full, all from the same username. New Year Smile had sent me 43 messages, all of them identical. See you soon. But the last message, it wasn't text. It was a video of someone standing in the middle of my street, holding their phone up and waving at my window. Slow, like they were practicing. I didn't sleep. My mind kept replaying that whisper under my window. When the sun finally scraped across my blinds, I forced myself downstairs and pretended everything was normal, even though normal felt like a word I'd never used before. Mom was watching the local morning news on TV, which she never does. Usually she's scrolling Facebook or TikTok, showing me dog videos. This time, she was frozen, holding her mug like she forgot how hands work. On screen was a city emergency statement, something I've only seen during tornado warnings. A nervous municipal spokesperson stood behind a podium saying, "We're aware of ongoing online threats and disturbing messages circulating in our community connected to a so-called streaming event. Police are asking residents not to engage with unauthorized links or communicate with anonymous accounts." She kept talking, but the words blurred together. The room felt too still, like everything was paused, except for those scrolling red alert letters on the bottom of the screen. My mom whispered, half laughing, trying to sound normal. "This is about those clown stickers, right? People are really losing their minds over nothing." But then she grabbed her phone, like she suddenly remembered something, and went quiet. Someone in town went missing. Around noon, Snapchat maps lit up with those breaking emojis people use when something serious happens, and within minutes, rumors spread faster than oxygen. Someone from high school, senior year football guy, hadn't shown up for morning practice. At first, everyone thought he just slept in or something, but then someone posted a blurry police car picture near the park entrance on Instagram stories. The caption, "They think he was taken walking his dog last night." Comment section exploded. "You think it's clown, dude? Stop it, bro. This is not funny." Most people dismissed it, but one detail made my blood turn to ice water. There were screenshots of Ring doorbell footage from nearby houses, and someone in a Santa coat was seen walking behind him about 20 minutes before he disappeared. Not following exactly, more like drifting several yards behind, like they had access to every shadow and didn't need to use cover to hide. And the coat had something stuck to the back. Someone zoomed in and circled it. A painted clown smile. No face, just the mouth, stretched and crooked like it was grinning sideways. My phone buzzed again. Twitter notification from an account I didn't follow. At New Year Smile again. He, or whatever it is, had posted a video. It wasn't violent, just unsettling in that twitchy nervous system way, like smelling bleach in a room you didn't clean. The camera was pointed at a snow-covered public bench with a small Christmas ornament sitting alone on it. It was one of those cheap glitter ornaments you get at Target. A round ball, bright red. The video zoomed in so slow, it felt intentional, painful, like someone was savoring how long they could stretch a moment. On the ornament surface, reflected by the curved glass, was a figure, not moving, barely visible, just standing near the bench, head tilted, wearing a crooked Santa hat. The reflection was grainy, but unmistakable. His face was painted white. Caption: test stream successful. I threw my phone. Not dramatic, just instinct, like dropping a hot pan you didn't know was turned on. Police cars started circling. Around mid-afternoon, I noticed squad cars driving up and down our street like they were tracing a route. No sirens, just slow cruising, windows tinted so dark you couldn't see if the officers were looking out or looking down. An automated phone alert blasted through town. Stay in well-lit areas. Avoid unnecessary travel after dark. My mom sighed, annoyed, like they'd interrupted her day. This is ridiculous, she muttered, scrolling Facebook like it owed her answers. But then she froze. I watched her face drain of color. She held up her phone to show me a group post. Someone found a cardboard Christmas box outside their door. Inside was a flash drive, and taped on the outside was a tiny paper label, "Watch with Family." People in the comments were freaking out. Police told them not to plug it into anything, and SWAT literally took it away. Someone else commented they saw 2 of those boxes near the mini mall dumpsters. Another said they saw one on a kid's scooter handle at Target. This wasn't random. It was coordinated, planted, and something about the phrase, "watch with family," made my stomach twist so violently I had to sit down. Like whoever wrote it knew exactly how to lace a threat into 5 harmless words. When nighttime came, the neighborhood changed. Around 8 p.m., every house on our street had their porch lights on, and not warm, cozy Christmas lights, just harsh motion sensor floods, making the yards look like interrogation rooms. Nobody was walking their dogs anymore. Nobody jogging. Nobody smoking outside. Not even the old guy across the street who basically lives on his porch. It was too quiet. We weren't scared of what might happen. We were scared of what already started. Then I heard tires crunching snow and a low engine idle. I peeked through the blinds, and an unmarked black van rolled down the street, slow, like it was studying house numbers, matching something on a list. No company logo, no plates I could see, just a sliding side door with a dull silver latch. The van stopped directly in front of my house. It didn't open, didn't turn off, just idled there long enough for the engine to pulse through the walls. My breath felt stuck in my lungs. Mom called out from the living room, "Is someone outside?" And I couldn't answer. I physically couldn't form words. Then, after an eternity, the van crawled away. It didn't accelerate, just glided down the road like drifting on ice. Later, I checked my phone and wished I hadn't one new message on Snapchat. Same name. New Year smile. No picture this time. Just a short text. Everyone is inside. Perfect. The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared, then again, then stopped. And that was somehow so much worse than anything he could have typed. Around 2 a.m., I thought I was dreaming. I woke up in that half sleep where you don't know if your thoughts are yours or something else's. My room was icy cold, not normal cold, like someone opened a window. I sat up and realized my blinds were slightly raised, only an inch or 2, but raised. I know for a fact I always keep them shut at night because I'm paranoid about shadows moving outside. Something rustled against the glass, not tapping, just a soft scrape, like a fingertip dragging slowly. One long line down the glass, then silence, then another. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. My body felt heavy, like I was pinned to my own mattress by pure terror. Then very faintly, like someone speaking through a layer of snow. 11, 50, 7. I pressed both hands over my ears, but the whisper didn't go away. If anything, it felt like the voice was inside my skull, sliding between thoughts, coiling around nerves. And then, right before the whisper faded, a single breathy phrase that made my entire body stiffen like ice. Check your back door. I didn't check. I stayed frozen until morning. By sunrise, nothing looked disturbed. No footprints, no window damage. But the blinds were still slightly raised, just enough for someone, if they wanted, to look in. The day before New Year's Eve, I walked downstairs and instantly knew something was wrong. My mum was standing at the front door, completely still, like she'd forgotten what she was doing. The door was cracked open just enough to let in that freezing morning air. On the porch sat a medium-sized package wrapped in metallic green Christmas paper, shiny enough to catch sunlight. A little gold ribbon, no card, no mailing label, just placed there silently, like whoever left it wanted to see how close they could get without waking us. Mom kept whispering, "Did you order something?" I shook my head. My stomach turned so hard, I thought I might be sick. The package wasn't taped to anything. No branding, no return address, just clean edges and careful folds. Someone took their time. Too much time. Mom tried to laugh it off, saying maybe it was a neighbor dropping off cookies early. But every Christmas cookie I'd ever seen came on a plate with cling wrap, not in whatever this was. I wanted to kick it into the yard, but instead, Mom just picked it up. My breath left my body. Inside was a single thing. She opened it right there at the kitchen table, sunlight hitting the paper like fake happiness, and out fell a tiny red USB drive, shaped like a candy cane, like something a kindergarten teacher would win as a secret Santa gift. But there was a handwritten note folded underneath it, in thick marker, crooked like someone wrote on a moving surface. Open together. Midnight. My hands went numb. Midnight. No date. Just midnight. Like it didn't matter which one, as long as we were inside when it played. Mom stared at it for a long second, then said the most terrifying sentence I'd ever heard. "Maybe it's one of your friends." There was no way to explain everything without sounding insane, so I just said, "Don't plug it in." She laughed awkwardly, confused, and set it on the counter like it was nothing. That was the moment I realized adults think danger needs a knife or a weapon to be real. But sometimes, all it needs is access. The neighborhood feed exploded. By noon, Snapchat, Facebook, even TikTok, locals were posting similar pictures. Identical green packages left on porches across town. Not every house, but enough that people started panicking. Someone filmed police collecting them with gloves, sealing them into evidence bags. But one clip stood out. Someone caught drone footage flying over a street 2 blocks away, and nearly every doorstep had a box. A comment said, "My little brother found his in his room." Another person claimed theirs was delivered at 5 a.m. They heard the floorboard in the hallway creak, went out, and found the package inside the house, leaning against their Christmas tree. Nobody believed them at first, until they posted the Ring camera footage from 4:37 a.m. A dark shape moving up their porch stairs, bending low against the ground, then disappearing behind the front door frame before the camera glitched. and for a full 5 seconds, the footage stayed frozen on a single blurred frame, showing a shape leaning toward the lens, head tilted sideways, like a question mark. You could see teeth, not smiling, just bared, like someone was inching toward the camera to smell it. Our lights flickered. The power didn't go out, but the house lights dimmed, like someone was messing with the electrical lines. Once, twice, then steady again. Mom called the utility company. They acted like everything was totally normal. I went upstairs and saw something taped to my bedroom door. A tiny Christmas sticker, the same clown face from the McDonald's window, only this time it wasn't smiling. The mouth was scratched dark, like someone took a coin and dug through the ink. Under it was another note in someone's rushed handwriting. Midnight is soon. Get ready. I felt a weight in my chest, like someone pressing down, and suddenly the house felt smaller, like the walls were listening. I remember whispering out loud, "Is someone inside?" But saying it only made it feel truer. I checked every room, not fast, carefully, every door, every closet, every corner where someone could hide. What terrified me wasn't what I found. It was that nothing looked moved or touched, which meant if someone came inside, they didn't disturb anything. They didn't need to. They wanted us to discover the things they left behind ourselves. Mom plugged the USB in anyway. She did it while I was upstairs. I came down and heard the TV playing static. Not normal static. Digital glitching. Sharp frequency sounds like metal scraping across metal. She stood in front of the screen like a statue, hand over her mouth. When she saw me, she whispered, "I didn't think it would actually show something." The video transitioned from black to low quality footage of a snowy street at night. Not our street. Not yet. Just a cold, empty suburban road somewhere. Christmas lights glowing faintly. Houses quiet. Then the camera panned slowly, like held against someone's chest, bobbing with each step. No narration. No text. Just breathing. Then the person filming walked closer to a random house. Not breaking in, just approaching the window. Their reflection in the glass showed a Santa coat and white painted jawline. They leaned forward and whispered something I'll never forget. "Open with family." My mom screamed and unplugged it. The screen froze on something behind the reflection. Someone sleeping in a chair, head drooped, completely unaware someone was filming them from inches away through a window. Police showed up 30 minutes later and took the USB. Mom cried quietly into her hands. Night fell. December 30th. Our street looked like a movie set. Police cruisers slowly patrolling, porch lights glowing like interrogation lamps, blinds closed in every house. Every dog in the neighborhood barked at shadows, like they sensed something we couldn't see yet. I kept noticing little things, tiny shifts, like something crawling between houses. Footprints that didn't match shoe prints. Christmas ornaments moved on porches. Someone reporting they heard jingling bells outside at 2 in the morning. Someone posted on the city Facebook group, "I swear I heard someone laughing outside, like trying not to be heard." Police told everyone to stay inside and lock doors, as if doors ever stopped someone who already got in. At 3:12 a.m., my window alarm beeped. Not the front door, not the back door, my bedroom window. A single soft beep, then silence, like something pressed against the sensor, just enough to trigger it. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands and looked. No notifications, no messages. But then Snapchat vibrated. One new snap from New Year Smile. It wasn't a picture. It was a text that made every hair on my skin stand at attention, like something cold breathed against them. Don't forget what tomorrow is. No emojis after, no signature, no creepy winking face, just pure certainty. Like we had already agreed to something long before we ever noticed. Nobody in town slept that night. Messages flew non-stop. Someone heard slow knocking on their garage. Someone saw a figure behind their shed. Someone said the Christmas tree lights turned on in the middle of the night without being plugged in. All different houses, all different streets, and all of it happened after sunset. This wasn't a prank, not a hacker, not a group. This was someone physically here, walking between homes like choosing ornaments. We didn't know it yet, but the boxes were the last warning. The countdown wasn't approaching anymore. It had arrived. December 31st. From morning to night, a freezing quiet hung over the entire neighborhood, like the air itself was holding its breath. No fireworks. They were banned by police. No cars leaving driveways. Not even dogs being walked. People barely spoke. Just whispered things like, "Do we stay awake? Will police come door to door? Are we supposed to watch something?" By sunset, every house was shut tight and dark, except for faint blue glows behind curtains from televisions left on, like they were guarding something. My mom kept every light on, even though police advised keeping windows covered. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the digital clock on the stove, like it was counting down towards something older than time. At 11:50, I heard something outside, not footsteps, closer to the soft thump of snow shifting under someone's weight. Mom whispered, "Don't go near the windows." So I didn't, but I listened. Soft crunching, stopping, starting again, like someone slowly circling our house. At 11:54, my phone dinged. Snapchat. Notification preview showed just 3 emojis: tree, clown, and a star. I opened it without thinking. It was a live video. Streaming. View counter unknown. Comments disabled. At first it showed nothing, just darkness and faint white noise. Then someone stepped into frame. Santa coat, cheap fabric, a hand holding the phone at chest level, camera pointed outward through darkness. Snowflakes brushed over the lens like fingerprints. And then, streetlights. My streetlights. The camera angled downward toward pavement, and I saw our street sign, reflecting in the distance. My stomach clenched so hard I nearly gagged. Someone typed a caption over the stream. Countdown begins. And then, the sound changed. Not footsteps this time. Not wind. A low humming, almost like a voice humming a Christmas tune. Too slow, like they couldn't remember the melody. But it wasn't happy. It sounded delighted. And every time the camera tilted, I could see a reflection in some dark surface. White paint, red mouth stretched too wide, eyes almost glowing back. I whispered, "Mom, don't move." She was gripping my wrist so hard her nails dug in. At exactly 11:57 p.m., the stream stopped moving. The phone camera just tilted upward toward a house, one with blue Christmas lights around the windows. My neighbor's house, the one across from us. Not mine. Not yet. And then a shape stepped into frame. I couldn't see details, just a dark outline, moving toward their front porch. Something jingled faintly, like bells on a cheap costume. Then the doorbell rang. A long, slow press. I froze so hard, I swear my heart stopped for a beat. Another caption appeared. First visit. Our neighbor opened the door. Not fully. Just cracked it. Probably thinking it was a friend or relative or someone lost. I saw their silhouette shift like confusion, then fear, then their hand disappeared behind the door like they were trying to close it, and the live stream cut to black. Just a white text, overlay faded in. Happy New Year. No scream, no crash, no violent sound, just silence. Then the feed ended, but the part that ruined me wasn't the video right. When the stream cut, someone knocked on our door. 3 slow knocks, each one spaced too perfectly, like punctuation. Mom gasped and grabbed my arm. We didn't move, didn't breathe. The hallway light flickered once, then steadied. Our front door creaked, just slightly, as if someone pressed a palm against it from outside. And then, very quietly, a voice through the door whispered, "See you next Christmas." Soft enough to sound like the house itself said it. Police sirens came a few minutes later. Not just one, multiple. Cars racing past, lights bouncing off windows. I checked the neighbor's house through the blinds. Officers running toward the porch, flashlights slicing across snow. But our porch was empty. No footprints, no gift, nothing left behind. The police never knocked on our door, never asked if we saw anything. They didn't even look toward our house. It was like we weren't part of whatever happened, just witnesses someone allowed to watch. Our neighbor moved out the next day. No explanation. They left furniture inside, lights still on. Nobody ever said what happened at 11:57, and the police report was under investigation, and then months later marked unverified. The house is still empty. Christmas lights still hanging. Weather faded, never taken down. Every New Year after that, at 11:57 p.m. exactly, my phone gets a message. Always the same 3 emojis: tree, clown, and star. Never text, never video, just those. Some years it's Snapchat. Last year it was Instagram DMs. This year it was a Discord friend request with the same exact username. Blocked, every time. Doesn't matter. Next year, he always finds another platform. And here's the part I hate admitting. 2 nights ago, almost exactly 1 year later, I heard something outside again. Not footsteps, just humming. Slow, off-key, familiar. It faded near the porch and moved toward the side of the house, like someone pacing under my window. I didn't look, couldn't. But when I woke up this morning and looked outside, the snow near the porch was disturbed, and sitting on top of the snow, half buried, was a small plastic ornament, the kind from those cheap tree packs at Walmart. Red, glittery, with a painted white smile scratched crookedly across the surface. There was no note, just a time written across it in permanent marker. 11:57, no year, no date, just that time, as if it's meant to repeat forever. Every New Year, every 11:57, every Christmas clown story online someone jokes about. They all think it's a legend, but legends don't knock on real doors. And if any of you ever hear humming outside your house near the end of December, don't open the door, don't check the window, don't look for footprints in the snow. He likes when people look. He likes being seen. And worst of all, he remembers houses. There's a secret Santa exchange on the dark web. I got chosen. Now a black van is watching my house every night. Alright, so this is not a story I ever expected to tell. I'm not some deep web expert. I'm not a hacker. I don't collect creepy memorabilia. And I sure as hell don't spend my nights watching gore comps or browsing cursed Reddits. I'm just a regular guy. Mid-20s, lives alone, got a cat named Geordie, and yeah, I waste way too much time on Discord and scrolling TikTok like the rest of us. But I made one dumb mistake. One. And now, every night, there's a black van parked across the street from my house with the engine running. The driver never gets out. He never moves. But I can feel him watching. Every time I so much as peek through the blinds, it's like he knows. Sometimes the headlights flicker on. Just once. Like a nod. So, let me tell you what led to this. And I swear, this is 100% real. You don't have to believe me. But after this, you might start checking your rearview mirror more often. This all started back in mid-November. I was on Reddit late one night, like 2 a.m. late, just browsing random threads when I stumbled on a post in a private subreddit called r/deaddropsonly. It only had like 160 members. The post was titled, Dark Web, Secret Santa, Exchange, 2025, Accepting Participants. Normally I'd scroll past that kind of thing. I mean, Secret Santa, on the dark web, sounds like a joke or a scam. But I clicked. I wish I hadn't. The post was written in this weird formal tone, almost like it was a corporate newsletter. Each year, we gather only the most curious, the most adventurous, the most deserving to participate in our exclusive Secret Santa event. Participants will receive a gift of equal or greater value than what they offer. Instructions will follow. Do not attempt to trace or hack the portal. Accepting now. Deadline, November 20th. It had this sketchy looking .onion link, like something out of a 90s hacker movie. My curiosity got the better of me. I fired up Tor, loaded the link, and was taken to this pitch black site with red text and a blinking cursor. There was no branding, no login, just a form. Submit your offer. We will judge its worth. Underneath, it said, items can be physical or digital. Make it meaningful. Make it dark. Make it real. Now, at this point, I still thought it was all some elaborate ARG, or maybe some weird art project. So I typed up something half serious. A thumb drive with a bunch of old family photos I never showed anyone. I even included some video files from when I was a kid. Some of them kinda disturbing, honestly. One showed my uncle screaming at my mom at a barbecue. Another had audio of a fight between my parents when they didn't know the camera was recording. It felt personal, like vulnerable, and I thought that would be edgy enough for whatever Creepypasta cosplay this was. I uploaded the zip file, clicked submit. It just said, accepted. I closed the window and didn't think much about it after that. For a few days, everything was normal. I went to work, made a couple TikToks, hung out with my buddy Mason at a Starbucks near Times Square. Life moved on, until I got the box. December 1st. A plain cardboard box showed up on my porch. No postage, no return label. Just sitting there, like someone walked it up in person. Inside was a Polaroid photo. It showed me standing in front of the Starbucks Mason, and I had been at 3 days earlier. The timestamp on the bottom corner was exactly when we'd been there. I was mid-sip, looking straight at the camera. But here's the thing, I don't remember anyone taking that photo. And taped to the back was a sticky note. Black ink, sharp, jagged handwriting. You're next. There was also something else in the box. A Starbucks napkin. Mine. I recognized the doodle I'd drawn on it. This little stick figure, falling off a building. I'd crumpled it and tossed it before we left. How did they even get it? That's when I realized this wasn't a game. Later that night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Nice drawing. No image. Just the text. I blocked the number immediately, but it didn't stop. Every couple hours, a new one would pop up. Unknown number. Red hoodie suits you. Unknown number. Geordie looks hungry. Unknown number. Sleep with the light on. I checked the windows. Geordie was asleep by the bookshelf. I hadn't worn the red hoodie since last week, but somehow they knew. The black van showed up on December 3rd, parked across the street just before midnight. Engine running. No plates. Windows tinted pitch black. At first, I thought it was some delivery van, maybe Amazon just being weird, but it never left. Not for hours. Just sat there, watching. Every night since, it's come back. Same spot, same time. And every night, I get another package. Some are worse than others. One was a DVD with shaky cam footage of me at Target, shopping for cat food. The angle suggested it was taken from behind the shelves. Another was a bundle of my hair tied with black string. I found a bald spot on the back of my head after that. Last night, it was a knife. Just a regular kitchen knife from my drawer. But someone had engraved something into the blade. Give a gift. Take a soul. I haven't slept in 3 days. I tried telling Mason. He thought I was messing with him until I showed him the knife. His face went pale. He offered to let me crash at his place, but I can't bring this to anyone else. I won't. They chose me. I don't know what the next gift will be. I don't know how they're getting in. My doors are locked. My cameras haven't caught anything, but I've started noticing symbols carved into the sidewalk in front of my house, on the back of receipts, scratched into the walls of public bathrooms. Same one every time. A circle with a jagged S through it. Looks almost like a snake eating itself. That's all for now. I just needed to get this out. If you've ever seen anything like this, any Secret Santa stuff on the dark web, don't join. Don't click. Don't be me. I'll post part 2 tomorrow, if I'd make it through the night. And if you see a black van parked on your street, don't look out the window. The next package wasn't left on my doorstep this time. I found it inside my house, sitting on my kitchen table like it had always belonged there, right next to my half-empty McDonald's bag from earlier that evening. I don't even remember walking into the kitchen at first. I saw the edge of the box, and my mind went completely numb, like when you scroll TikTok and something catches your attention, but you don't understand why until your brain finally catches up and your chest goes tight. This box was heavier, wrapped in plain brown paper again, but taped like someone had taken their time, sealing every single seam twice. I didn't want to touch it. I stood there listening, just listening, to my fridge hum, Geordie scratching his letterbox down the hall, a car passing outside. I waited for something wrong, something off, like breathing or footsteps. Eventually, curiosity dragged my hand forward. I opened the first flap. The smell that hit me wasn't blood, but something old, cold metal mixed with damp basement. On top was a folded piece of printer paper. One sentence typed in the same black jagged font. You forgot to lock your bedroom window. My stomach flipped so fast I nearly gagged. I turned around and stared down the hall toward my bedroom like I expected someone to be standing there. Inside the box was a phone. Not mine. A cheap Android with a cracked screen. The moment I touched it, the screen lit up. No lock, no passcode, and opened straight into the camera roll. Hundreds of photos, all of them taken inside my house. Not of me, not of my things, Just corners, doorways, the hall to my bedroom, the ceiling vent, under my kitchen table, the darkest places someone hiding would watch from. There was one picture that made me physically step back, a photo of the side of my face while I slept, my hair messed up, mouth slightly open, pillow creased under my cheek. I don't remember anyone being there. I don't remember hearing anything, but whoever took it was standing close enough to smell my breath. My fingers wouldn't stop trembling. The phone buzzed suddenly in my hand, like someone activated it remotely. A notification dragged across the top. New video saved. My thumb tapped it by accident, and a shaky recording started playing. It looked like it was filmed at some kind of drive-thru. Starbucks, judging by the LED menu flickering overhead. The video was silent, except for faint static, like interference. The camera slowly panned across the back of a black van in line, the same kind parked outside my house. Then, as the video zoomed in, something moved inside the van's back window, like a figure shifting forward out of the dark. Just a human-shaped shadow leaning closer toward the glass, until all you could see was the shape of a head pressed almost against the window. And then the screen cut white. The phone vibrated 3 times. A message appeared. "You're late. Everyone else already made their delivery." There was an address beneath it, somewhere on the other side of town, near the industrial area. Google Maps showed nothing but abandoned warehouses and half-collapsed buildings. I noticed something else. The house lights on my street flickered. First mine, then the neighbor across the road, like a wave moving house to house. I looked out the blinds. The van's headlights flared. Just once. My brain kept trying to rationalize. Maybe someone was messing with the power grid. Maybe the van was just some weird neighbor's company car, and I was connecting dots that weren't meant to be connected. But deep down, that part of my instincts we try to ignore, the animal part, was screaming that this was planned, coordinated, watched. I didn't go to the address. I shoved the phone in a drawer and paced for hours, trying to figure out if I should call the police. Except, what do you even tell them? "Hi, yeah, some dark web secret Santa thing sent me pictures of myself sleeping." They think I was insane. Or worse, bored and wasting time. I tried FaceTiming Mason around 2 a.m. because I just needed to hear someone else's voice. He didn't pick up. His Insta story from earlier showed him at some rooftop bar in Manhattan with a couple people I didn't know, neon lights reflecting off frozen winter wind. I sent him a DM, then another. Nothing. That's around when I heard glass move. Not shatter, just shift, like someone touching the window frame gently with their fingertips. I turned every light in the house on at once and grabbed the kitchen knife with the creepy engravings, even though touching it made my skin crawl. I checked every window. Bedroom closed, kitchen closed, office closed, but the sliding glass door to the backyard barely cracked open an inch. Geordie hissed, fur raised, tail puffed, and that's when I noticed something stuck between the door and the frame. Another piece of folded paper, like someone slid it in while I wasn't looking. I didn't want to touch it, but I had to. The message this time was handwritten, thin letters like spider legs. "You're behind schedule. Your Santa already started." I didn't sleep. Not even a minute. Around sunrise, exhaustion dragged me to the living room couch. Not sleep, just shutting my eyes for a moment. When they opened again, the phone was sitting on the coffee table in front of me. not where I left it. Screen on, camera open, recording. Under it, something new. A Polaroid. Freshly printed, still warm. A picture of me sleeping on that couch, taken from just a few feet away. At the bottom, written in that same horrible handwriting, "This is your final reminder. Choose who receives your gift, or we will choose for you." There was an address book underneath the photo, every page filled. Hundreds of random names, phone numbers, city names from all over. Tokyo, London, Chicago, Berlin, places I've never been. Some pages had names crossed out violently. Others had notes like arrived, accepted, claimed, and next to those, crossed out names. Dates. Dates like expiration deadlines. One page had only one name written in the center in huge black marker, like whoever wrote it wanted to make sure I didn't miss it. Mason Morris. Underneath, today's date. Hours later, I finally got a message back from Mason, but it wasn't a text, not a DM. It was a video call. His face was pale, unfocused, like he hadn't slept either. But behind him, just barely visible through his apartment window, headlights. 2 circles of white shining up his building, like someone parked directly outside and aimed right at him. He whispered, voice shaken, "Dude, I think someone's been watching me all night." And then, just before the call cut, something reflected in his window. A figure, not a shape. A silhouette stepping closer from the dark behind him. The screen went black. The connection dropped. My phone started buzzing with notifications, rapid fire, like someone was spamming me. But everyone was just the same message over and over. "Merry Christmas." I'm shaking writing this. I don't know if Mason is okay. I don't know if I'm next. I don't know if choosing someone else stops anything, or just makes me part of whatever this is. But I know one thing now. This isn't about gifts. It's about taking turns. And apparently, mine just started. I didn't hear from Mason again that day, which already felt like someone pressing a cold hand against the back of my neck. But that night, something changed. Up until then, everything they'd done was indirect. Photos, notes, watching, like they wanted to warm me up to something, like horror marinating slowly. But this was the night they stopped hinting and started touching reality in ways I hadn't even imagined were possible. Around 11:30 p.m., I started noticing things outside my house weren't where they were before. The trash can had been moved right up against my front steps, lid open like someone expected me to throw something out immediately. My neighbor's recycling bin was standing dead center in my driveway, and the street lights, all of them, were off. Even though the rest of the town hadn't lost power, my entire street looked swallowed in wet, sticky dark, like someone painted over the sky itself to erase any stars left up there. I opened my front door only because I couldn't breathe otherwise. Sometimes you need fresh air, even when you're terrified the air is poisoned. But the second I stepped onto the porch, I realized there were footprints all over the snow in my yard. Not boot prints, bare feet, dozens of them. Some small like a child, others long like someone who hadn't cut their toenails in too many months. All pointed toward my front door. None pointed away. Like everyone who walked here never left. I shut the door immediately and double-locked it, then shoved a chair under the handle, because that suddenly felt like something people in movies do just before something awful starts. I tried calling anyone, Mason, work, even an Uber driver I'd used a lot. Nobody picked up. Every single call went straight to voicemail. like someone was holding the line down just long enough to make sure I couldn't reach another living human being. That's when I heard the knocking, but it wasn't at the front door or the back. It was from the attic. Slow, patient taps, like someone testing wood for hollow spots, learning which parts creaked the loudest. 3 knocks. Silence. Then somewhere else. Another 3 knocks. Like someone was exploring, getting closer room by room. They weren't breaking anything, just tapping, listening. I didn't go up there, obviously. I pressed my back against the hallway wall and tried to convince myself raccoons somehow evolved thumbs overnight. But then my phone buzzed again, vibrating across the table. I glanced. The same cracked Android they sent me earlier was lighting up, screen bright, camera open, just like before. But this time, it wasn't recording. It was live streaming. A window popped open on the display, showing a grainy night vision feed of an attic somewhere. Walls covered in peeling insulation, beams sagging overhead. But then, the angle slowly tilted down, and I realized something that almost made me drop the phone. That was my attic. There was a moving shadow up there, pacing along the beams, dragging fingers across wood. I couldn't see a face, just the outline of hair brushing the ceiling, moving in these twitchy little jerks like someone struggling to keep control of their own body. The stream glitched for a second, and a soft voice whispered from the phone speaker, raspy, like someone chewing their own breath. "You're going to make such a thoughtful gift." I backed up so fast, my heel hit Geordie's water bowl and sent it spilling across the floor, cold water running under my sock. And somehow, that cold shock felt more real than anything else, like the universe slapped me to make sure I understood. This wasn't a nightmare. Then the knocking stopped. No footsteps, no scratching, just total still silence that felt like someone holding their breath inches away from your ear. I didn't move for almost an hour. Eventually I crawled to my bedroom and curled against the door, because somehow hiding behind a locked door inside another locked door felt like safety, even though logically it made zero difference if someone was already in the house. I kept thinking maybe Mason would text. Maybe anyone would. Midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., nothing. But around 3:14 a.m., yes, I checked the time, because sometimes you memorize the exact second life changes. The live stream cut out, and the phone displayed a single photo instead. A picture of a building across town. Not a warehouse. Not an abandoned place, like the address they sent before. This was bright, public, a McDonald's, the one near the mall, the one I went to as a kid after school sometimes. And standing under the golden arches in the photo was someone wearing my red hoodie, the one I hadn't worn in a week. And just behind that figure was a black van parked sideways, like someone didn't care about traffic at all. Its headlights blasted white across the parking lot, aimed straight at whoever was holding the phone that took the picture. At the bottom of the photo was another message, but this time handwritten in thicker marker, more forced, like whoever wrote it was pushing harder and harder until the tip started tearing the paper. Deliver yourself by sunrise. I wish I could tell you I was brave, that I grabbed a weapon, that I checked the attic, that I finally called the cops and forced someone to believe me. But the truth is, I didn't move. I froze so completely that even when the doorknob to my bedroom turned a full inch in the dark, I couldn't scream, couldn't blink, couldn't even swallow. It stopped after maybe 2 seconds. But those 2 seconds felt like someone pressing their fingers against my pulse to measure how terrified I could get before passing out. Then whoever it was just walked away without a single sound. Before sunrise, the knocking returned one more time. 3 taps against my bedroom door. Soft, almost gentle, like a promise. I think I fell asleep at some point, though I don't know how. When daylight finally pushed through my window blinds, the phone buzzed one more time. No live stream, no video, just one text. We're already inside Mason's place. I haven't heard from him since. His Instagram hasn't updated. His location on Snapchat stopped moving sometime around midnight. And that red hoodie from the picture. I checked my closet this morning. It's gone. Sunrise didn't feel like morning. It felt like the world was holding its breath. Everything outside looked washed out, like my neighborhood got dipped in bleach. No birds, no cars. Even the black van was gone for the first time in days, as if it only existed when shadows let it. But my phone was buzzing like it was trying to crawl out of my pocket. Over and over. Same cracked Android. Same anonymous notifications. Except this time, they weren't messages. They were live location pings. Little red dots blinking across a map I didn't recognize at first, until I zoomed in and realized every pin was a place I'd visited in the last week. The grocery store on 5th, the subway entrance downtown, the exact Starbucks table I sat at 2 days ago. Each location flashed in order, one after another, like someone retracing every step I'd taken, one street behind me. But the last pin wasn't anywhere I recognized. It was labeled Homecoming, somewhere deeper in the city, past that industrial area I mentioned earlier, but farther, almost outside town, near where the woods start. I didn't go. I told myself I'd barricade the doors, call someone, literally anyone. But every time I tried dialing, my phone froze on a black screen. No error, just a black void, like someone pressed a finger over my eyes. Around noon, the normal house noises started to feel wrong. The fridge didn't hum correctly. It clicked like someone was tapping metal from the inside. Geordie wouldn't leave my bedroom. He stayed under the bed, growling at the ceiling. Even my own footsteps echoed weirdly, like the rooms were wider than they really were, like the house was slowly hollowing itself out. I opened my hallway closet to grab a hoodie and froze, because hanging there, perfectly scented, perfectly ironed, was my red hoodie, the one that had disappeared, clean, folded, and inside the front pocket was a printed photo of someone wearing it, except that person wasn't me. I could see the jawline, the angle, the posture, but the face wasn't mine anymore. Same hoodie, same hands, different eyes, too wide, staring directly into the camera like mirrors. Under the photo was a handwritten sentence, short, almost playful. "You don't need a replacement. You already were one." I slammed the closet shut so hard the frame rattled, and from somewhere above the ceiling, something answered, a soft, rhythmic scraping, like fingertips dragging across wood slowly, counting the inches. Scrape, pause, scrape, pause. I wanted to scream, but my voice felt shrink-wrapped. By late afternoon, I stopped hearing the scraping. Instead, someone knocked softly on my front door, not like the attic tapping before. This was Knuckles, human, slow, deliberate. 3 taps, long pause, 3 taps again. I stood frozen at the top of the stairs, staring at the front door, waiting for whoever it was to go away. They didn't. The knocking grew lighter, almost polite, like they were waiting for permission to enter. Then, silence. That silence is worse than noise, because it doesn't end, you do. I stayed upstairs until night dropped like a curtain, swallowing every color outside. I don't remember moving. 1 minute, I was staring out the window. Next thing I know, I'm sitting on the floor in the hallway, with the cracked Android glowing next to me. The screen turned on by itself again, front camera active, except instead of showing my face, the camera showed the attic, and something else. Someone sitting in the far corner, knees tucked to their chest, like a child hiding from punishment. The shape rocked gently side to side, hair hanging over their face, arms wrapped tight around their legs. I thought maybe it was Mason. I wanted to believe it was Mason, until they slowly lifted their head just enough that I could see the outline of a grin. Wide, stretched, wrong. The live stream zoomed suddenly, like someone shoved the camera forward, and the face rushed toward the screen. Eyes empty, but somehow still focused straight into mine. The speaker crackled, and a whisper came through, low, almost affectionate. "We like wearing you." The feed cut. My phone dropped from my hand. Then my actual phone, my real one, buzzed for the first time in hours. A message from an unknown number. Video message received. I opened it. It was surveillance footage, grainy black and white, from what looked like a parking garage. Mason was walking across the lot, wearing clothes I'd never seen. He moved strangely, like his limbs didn't fit him right anymore. Halfway to the exit, he turned slowly toward the camera, and for a moment, it looked like he recognized me, even through the screen. But then he smiled, and that smile wasn't his. Behind him, just barely visible in the dark, I saw a black van follow him deeper into the shadows. Someone inside leaned forward, same silhouette from before, raising a hand, but instead of waving, the fingers pointed directly at the camera. Slowly, like they could see me watching. My screen glitched, and the video froze. Then text appeared on top of it, typed in real time. "One more night. Then it's your turn." I haven't closed my eyes since. Every time the house creaks, I wait for someone wearing my skin to walk into my room and take the rest of me. They don't want to kill me. They want to replace me, piece by piece. And I swear on whatever is left of my brain. When I passed the hallway mirror earlier, something behind me kept walking even after I stopped. I woke up in my basement. I don't remember going there. I don't ever sleep down there. But I opened my eyes to cold concrete, wet under my cheek, and the heavy stench of copper in the air. Not blood, not just blood. Blood mixed with old meat, mold, damp rot, and something sweet like antifreeze. Something dead trying too hard to smell alive. There was a box in front of me. You already know what kind. Same brown paper. Same tight, suffocating tape seams. No note this time. Just a gash along the top, already torn open. Inside was... I don't think I can say this in a way that makes sense to anyone who hasn't seen a person turned inside out and posed. The first thing I saw was Mason's face. Not his face, just the mask of it, peeled and stretched wide across a mannequin head. His real hair still attached, eyes missing, the skin pinned in place, like a Halloween decoration. Someone had drawn on it, with a Sharpie, 2 circles for eyes, a smiley face, a message across the forehead. He wore it well. The rest of Mason was in the box too, but not in any order. This wasn't a body, it was a kit. Limbs wrapped separately in vacuum-sealed bags, like the kind you'd find at butcher shops, each tagged, labeled, some marked as accepted, some as rejected. One bag just said, "Extra." I staggered backward and hit the shelves so hard that tools clattered to the floor. One of them, a rusty box cutter, slid under my foot, and I picked it up because I needed something to hold. Not to fight, just to know I could cut me if I had to. If they tried to replace more, because something was missing. I checked the mirror by the basement stairs and stared at my reflection. I don't even know how long, but I couldn't stop looking. Something was wrong with my face. Not wrong, just not quite mine. My left eye was slightly lower than my right. My smile felt stretched too tight on one side. The skin behind my ear had a faint line, a seam, not fresh, not stitched, just wrong. Like I had been altered, like I'd been traded. The Android phone buzzed. No notification, just a ringtone I hadn't heard before. One long distorted violin note, bending upward like a scream with nowhere to go. I answered it. Dead silence. Then a voice. Not one I recognized. Not Mason. Not any of them from before. This one was smooth, calm. A woman's voice, confident. Your secret Santa has confirmed receipt. I couldn't speak. My throat locked up. But she continued, like she didn't need me to say anything. Your replacement will arrive before dawn. Don't resist. He already fits. And the others are watching. I dropped the phone. It didn't hang up. The voice kept talking from the floor. Now layered. 2, 3, 5 voices speaking at once. Echoing. Overlapping like a chorus of insects mimicking speech. I ran upstairs, slipping on the wet spot on the stairs, leaving streaks behind me. I prayed with just water. But as soon as I hit the hallway, I knew something was off. Every photo on my walls, family pictures, old birthday parties, a class trip to Universal, had been replaced. Same frames, same poses, but every person was wearing a different face. People I didn't recognize. Blank-eyed, soft-skinned mannequins trying to mimic life. One had Mason's smile. Another had my old childhood scar on their chin. One of them wore my dad's fishing hat, but his eyes were gone. Just black sockets with silver pins pushed deep where irises should have been. And then came the footsteps. Not loud, not rushed, just barefoot and wet, slapping gently on the floorboards upstairs. One pair, then another, then more. I ran to my room, slammed the door, locked it. The house went quiet again. For 5 minutes, 10, maybe more. Then the knocking started. Every door in the house, at the same time, same rhythm. 3 knocks, long pause, 3 knocks. Again, again, again. Walls started creaking like they were breathing. The air felt thick, like every molecule was watching me, decide whether I was going to open the door or just let them tear it down. I grabbed the box cutter and walked to the mirror again. I had to see, had to be sure. My cheek, the seam. I dug the blade under it. I barely touched it, and the skin peeled, like wrapping paper, like something put on instead of grown. And underneath, not muscle, not blood, just more skin. Someone else's. I dropped the knife. It hit the sink and bounced once, leaving a smear across the porcelain. From the mirror behind me, I saw the door start to open. Slowly, the lock undid itself, and in walked me. Not a look-alike, not a mask, just another me. Same hoodie, same scars, same everything, except the smile. His smile was perfect, balanced, symmetrical, beautiful. They gave me the better version, he whispered. He didn't lunge, didn't attack, just watched me, studying. Then others stepped in behind him, one by one, all wearing pieces. Someone had Geordie's green collar around their neck like a trophy. One wore a jacket I thought I'd lost years ago. Another was taller, wearing shoes I used to own in college. All of them were me, in pieces, some better, some not, all waiting. They circled me, close. The lights dimmed, and then, dark. I'm writing this from someone else's phone. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what part of me is mine. I don't feel pain. I don't feel tired. I just exist in the shape they left me. If you're reading this, the Secret Santa list is still open. They'll choose you next. Maybe they already have. Merry Christmas. I found a dark web stream called Santa's Workshop. The kids weren't actors. Okay, so this actually happened about 3 weeks ago, and I'm honestly still processing it. I know everyone on r/no sleep says that, but look, if I wanted views, I'd just post this as a TikTok story time with dramatic music and captions that block half the screen. I'm not doing that. I'm literally writing this because I haven't slept more than maybe 2 straight hours since it happened. So I'm a tech student, right? Not a hacker or anything cinematic. Just bored. Staying up too late. Reddit, Discord, scrolling through Twitter/X until my brain feels like scrambled eggs. You know, normal 2025 insomnia routine. I got into the whole deep web curiosity thing because of one stupid YouTube rabbit hole. I watch those animated horror channels. Here's My Story, Llama Arts, all that. And I guess I thought most of it was exaggerated. You know how it is. You get lulled in because the narrator sounds chill, like they're telling a campfire story, but they're actually chewing cereal behind the mic. Anyway, I joined this Discord server that claimed to be a tech exploration community. Sounds smart, right? Except everyone there was acting edgy, like they were the villain in a Netflix hacker series. They kept talking about private streams and exclusive hosts. It sounded cringy, but my curiosity won. One night, around 2:37 a.m., I got a private message from someone named Saintnick_02. Dude had the most generic profile avatar ever, like a stock photo of Santa with glowing red eyes, which I assumed was ironic humor. His message literally said, "If you like scary stuff, you should see what's happening on the real internet tonight." Now I should have blocked him right there and gone back to doom scrolling. TikTok conspiracy accounts about Disneyland tunnels. But no, my brain said this is content. He sent a Tor link, just a single link, no explanation. I don't know what switch flipped in me, but I clicked. Tor loads slow, right? So I'm waiting, yawning, sipping the same flat vanilla iced coffee I got at Starbucks earlier. It was one of those weird, quiet nights where there's no traffic outside, no sounds, like the world is on airplane mode. The page finally loads, and the layout looks way too professional, like Netflix-level UI. A winter-themed banner, animated snow, soft holiday music. In December, that wouldn't be weird, but it was barely November. At the top, there was a title, Santa's Workshop. Live under that, a viewer count, 112 people watching. That's not normal for deep web video stuff. Usually, it's like 5 people and a screen that looks like it's running on Windows XP. I hovered over the feed, but something in my stomach twisted, like that sinking feeling you get watching security camera footage at 3 a.m. I almost closed it. I really did. But then the viewer counter jumped. 112, 120, 127. Almost like something was starting. The stream finally opened. At first it looked cute, honestly. A big workshop, decorated like those holiday displays you see at malls in New York. The ones where parents take photos, pretending everything isn't falling apart in the world. Fake snow, twinkling lights, oversized candy canes. Then the camera zoomed in, and I realized this wasn't staged like some cheap Santa Mall photo shoot. Everything looked too real, like industrial real. Metal beams instead of cardboard decor, heavy mechanical doors, like a factory pretending to be whimsical. Then I saw them. Kids, at least 10 of them, wearing identical red pajamas, all sitting at long wooden tables, heads down, not moving. In front of each kid, piles of small toy parts, dolls, wooden figurines, tiny plastic Christmas ornaments. They were assembling things. And that's when I noticed they all had tags around their wrists, like hospital patient bands, except the names were blurred. I thought maybe it was some immersive escape room thing, or some creepy ARG someone made for social media. But the stream quality was too high, like 4K documentary style. No pixelation. Too much effort for some prank. Then the camera cut suddenly, like someone behind the feed chose a different angle. That's when a voice came through. Calm. Male. Too cheerful, like a Twitch streamer pretending to be Santa Claus. Smile for Santa, little helpers. No kid reacted. Not one turned their head. No expression. Then the voice said, "Remember, no talking unless Santa asks directly." I swear my blood went cold. Not scared, just wrong. Like something in my brain recognized a sound we're not supposed to hear. A chat panel popped up next to the feed, and random users started typing. LOL real? They trained well. Check room 2. Someone else typed, "New shipment tonight?" That phrase, shipment, hit me like a punch. What kind of kids event needs shipments? I was just staring, screen glowing in the dark of my room. My phone buzzed, and I nearly died of a heart attack. It was a notification from X about Mr. Beast giving someone a house again. Completely normal timing, right? That's when I heard the voice again. "Good news, helpers. We have a new arrival today." And before I could even stop myself, I typed something in the chat. Just one stupid comment. "Is this real?" Immediately, someone responded, "Welcome." Then the viewer count jumped again. 128, 142, 160. My eyes were glued to that number when suddenly, on the corner of the screen, a little pop-up appeared, like the stream was pinging someone joining a call, except it had my IP address, like literally visible on the screen. A robotic voice read it out loud, slowly. Digit, digit, digit. Not joking, not creepypasta flair, literal numbers. Then the Santa voice whispered, quiet this time, almost like he leaned into a microphone. "We see you." And the stream cut to black. The screen was black, but the sound didn't stop. It didn't cut to static. It didn't buffer. It didn't even give me the usual deep web page timeout. Just black. And then I heard the clicking. Soft, wet, rhythmic, not mechanical, not a mouse, keyboard. It sounded like someone chewing, or maybe cracking their knuckles, over and over and over again. I stared at the screen like an idiot for probably a full minute, waiting for it to cut off, waiting for something to move. Nothing. I moved my mouse. The cursor appeared, so I went to close the tab, and it wouldn't. The X on the browser window, frozen. I tried to Alt plus F4. I tried Task Manager. Nothing worked. That's when the webcam light on my laptop flicked on. You ever feel your soul try to jump out your body? I was frozen. I didn't cover it. I didn't slam the laptop shut. I just sat there, like I'd handed myself over, like a sheep who realized the wolves weren't outside the fence. They were in the barn with me, wearing the same uniform. Then the screen changed. No fade, no transition, just a single clean image. A table, concrete underneath, fluorescent lights above, but flickering, like the ones at the back of a Target store, where the cameras never reach. On the table, a doll. At least I thought it was. But it had blood on it. Tiny little smears on the torso, and one eye missing. The camera slowly pulled back, and I screamed. I actually screamed. Like real, throat-scorching, pathetic scream. Because it wasn't a doll. It was a child. Maybe 5 years old, wearing a onesie covered in cartoon reindeer. But their limbs were stiff, propped. Their mouth had been painted into a smile with some kind of glue or wax, cracked, bleeding at the edges. Pinned to the wall behind them was a handmade sign. Toy quality control failed. And then the video glitched, like old VCR static, but digital. It cut to a shot of rows of kids, new ones, chained by the ankles to stools. No music now, just the sound of tools, scissors, saws, hammers, but not hitting toys, not hitting wood. It was the wet kind of impact, the kind of sound you only hear in a butcher shop if you're paying attention. Some of the kids were twitching, one was smiling, and I swear on my dead grandfather's grave, it wasn't normal. It was like his skin didn't know how to smile, but was being forced to. His eyes weren't looking at the camera. They were looking at something just off frame, and they were begging. Then the feed cut again. New camera angle, a corridor, dim red lights, concrete walls that looked like they'd been painted over 1,000 times, rust leaking through every layer. At the far end of the hallway was a door, metal, dented. There were marks on it, scratches, but not animal scratches, fingernails, fingertip gouges trailing down the center of the door. The camera started moving toward it, not handheld, not shaky, smooth, like something floating. And as it moved, the hallway seemed to grow narrower. I mean literally. I could see the walls inching inward, like the whole place was breathing, like it wanted the viewer to feel boxed in. There were sounds now, whimpering, shuffling, the sound of something wet dragging, and then a voice whispered, right in my headphones, close, too close. Want to see what happens to the naughty ones? That's when I finally moved. I tore my laptop off the desk and slammed it shut so hard I thought the screen cracked. I unplugged everything, threw my router out the window, sat in my bathtub with every light on, breathing like I'd just run from something with claws. I didn't touch my laptop for 2 days. When I turned it back on, the screen loaded instantly. No password screen, no delay. It just opened to the stream. No browser, no desktop, just the stream. There was a new scene playing, except now it wasn't in the workshop. It was somewhere familiar. It was a Starbucks near my college campus. I swear I've been there 100 times, but the store was empty. No baristas, no music, lights flickering, and on the counter, there was a name written on the chalkboard menu where it normally said, today's barista, Emily, or whatever. It said, today's helper, my full legal name, spelled correctly, middle name too. And then the camera shifted. It panned to the store's front door. Someone was standing outside, just a silhouette, short, thin, a child, wearing a red onesie. I slammed the laptop again, tried to destroy it, smashed it with a hammer in my garage until the keys exploded off like shrapnel. Didn't work. Next morning, the screen turned on by itself. New feed, different location, my bedroom, live, real time. From the ceiling corner, but I don't have a camera in there. Or so I thought. That's when I remembered something. 2 weeks earlier, I ordered a smart smoke detector off Amazon, some startup brand. It was on sale for Prime Day. I looked up the model. It had a built-in camera. For security. There's more. So much more. But I need to stop here. I haven't even gotten to room 9. Or what they showed me when I finally answered the phone. They sent a package to my house. A real one. It's still on my front porch. I haven't opened it, but I can hear something moving inside it. If I make it. The package was ticking. Not like a bomb. Not fast, like a clock. Slower. Inhuman. 1. Pause. 2. Pause. A faint wet thud inside, like something with no bones shifting in damp fabric. I didn't want to touch it, but it was just sitting there on the doorstep. Right under my ring cam, and the camera wouldn't turn on. Not even from the app. It just showed static, like someone had hacked it, or worse, like it was recording, but not for me anymore. The package wasn't marked, just a white cardboard box. One of those ones you'd get from Shane or some Etsy store with custom mugs, except the corners were frayed like it had been clawed. The tape wasn't standard either. It was stitched, literally stitched shut with thick black thread that looked soaked in something oily. I brought it inside because I'm stupid, because that's what people in horror stories do before they disappear, and I guess I'd already crossed the line of no return. I didn't use a knife. I didn't want to puncture whatever was in it. So I spent almost an hour with tweezers and scissors, cutting through the thread while it made that noise again. Not a growl, not breathing. Something like the sound your stomach makes when you're hungry, but coming from a thing that doesn't need to eat. The thread finally gave, and I pulled the flaps apart. Inside was a doll, but not like any doll I'd ever seen. It was handmade, maybe 2 feet tall. The skin was burlap, but dyed pale pink. Its face wasn't sewn. It was stitched in real human hair, tangled into shapes. No eyes, just empty sockets, with tiny cameras embedded deep inside, blinking red. No mouth. Instead, a long zipper was sewn horizontally across where the lips would be. The arms ended in fingers made from broken plastic spoons, dull but sharpened at the tips. Its torso had a little apron, like an elf, embroidered across it in dark, shaky letters. Santa's favorite helper, and clutched in its stiff, trembling hands was a Polaroid. I flipped it over. It was me, sitting at my desk, wearing the same hoodie I had on, except in the photo, I wasn't looking at the screen. I was asleep, and standing directly behind me, in the photo, just over my shoulder, was the doll. That's when the stream came back. No sound, just static at first. Then that same low, humming audio, like a hospital generator about to fail. I didn't click anything. It opened on its own, full screen, black frame, text blinking at the top. Do not make a sound. Camera cut in. Room 9. It wasn't a room. It was a pit. Circular. Concrete. Smooth. Walls 30 feet high. No doors. No ladders. Just a single iron platform, suspended above the center by chains, like an old butcher's rack, and hanging from it, a child, naked, upside down, a meat hook through the ankle, still twitching. Below them, in the pit, things were moving, not people, not animals, things with joints that bent the wrong way, crawling, dozens of them, their bodies too long for the space they occupied, like if someone took children and stretched them through some filter that didn't understand human anatomy anymore. Each one had a number carved into their back, not written, carved. Some were missing limbs, One had no skin, but was still twitching. The camera zoomed in on the child above them. They were crying, upside down tears, falling into the pit. The chains rattled, and then the voice came back. "Let's see how well you earned your stocking this year." A lever appeared from the side of the frame. A hand, gloved in red leather, gripped it and pulled. The chain unwound, slow, click by click. The child was lowered, slowly, toward the things. They started shrieking, not barking, not growling, shrill, high-pitched gurgling, like boiling teapots that screamed instead of whistled. They clawed at the walls, trying to climb up toward the meat. One of them began to laugh, not like a kid, like an adult imitating a kid. "Gimme, gimme, gimme, I've been good." Then another joined in. "I want the fingers, I want the fingers." The voices overlapped, multiplied, like something demonic in surround sound. I muted the stream, except I couldn't. The mute button was gone. I tried to close the window. It just blinked and opened again, this time on both monitors. Even the broken laptop in the corner of my room, long dead, screen shattered, flashed the stream in perfect clarity. The child's body kept lowering. I couldn't look away. I wanted to. I wanted to shut my eyes, smash the screen, gouge out my ears. Then the camera cut again. New angle. My street. Live. Timestamp showed the exact time. I ran to the window. No movement, no cars. Just the same broken streetlight flickering like always. But on the stream, someone was walking toward my house, wearing a red coat, dragging a sack. The shape in the sack was twitching. The person stopped halfway up my lawn, looked directly at the camera, then looked at me. Because now it wasn't the street cam, it was my window. I couldn't breathe. The figure reached into their sack and pulled something out. Another doll. This one had my face, poorly stitched, but recognizable. Even had the chipped tooth I never fixed. It turned the doll around. On the back was a zipper, and slowly, the figure started to unzip it. I shut the stream. I shut everything. I turned off every breaker in the house, sat in the dark with a knife, and the doll still twitching on my table. And that's when I heard it, from inside the wall. Scrape. Soft. Slow. Scrape. Like fingernails dragging on the other side of drywall. Then a whisper, barely audible, but unmistakable. "You're on the list now." They haven't stopped. There's more. They've started putting things in my fridge. Teeth in Ziploc bags. Ribbons made of what looks like scalp. A cookie tin that rattles when I shake it, but won't open. And the dolls keep arriving. One every night. Last night's had a thumb drive stitched into its stomach. I haven't plugged it in yet. I don't think I want to know what's on it, but I think I have to. Because if I don't, I think they'll start sending something worse. Something that moves on its own. The thumb drive was covered in a sticky, brownish residue that had dried glossy, like old varnish. I almost threw it away, but curiosity always finds a door. I plugged it into an old Chromebook I hadn't used since high school, the kind you have to keep plugged in or it shuts off at 34% battery. It booted a hidden folder instantly. No loading, no clicking. Just opened itself. The folder title, Progress Report. Inside were dozens of video files, each labeled with numbers instead of names. The thumbnails were static, like security camera footage, but each one showed parts of that same workshop. Different rooms, different lighting conditions. One thumbnail caught my attention. The angle looked off, almost too familiar. I clicked it. It wasn't a room, it was a hallway, and I recognized the artwork on the wall. because it was my hallway, my apartment, except the colors were washed out and the floor looked stained, not like blood, more like damp water patterns spreading outward, like something had been dragged repeatedly. The footage had timestamps, but the dates were in the future, some labeled days that hadn't passed yet, like someone had scheduled nightmares for me to experience in advance. The second video began with the sound of something pacing, a faint shuffle, then a small, stifled cry, like a child trying not to let their breathing be heard. For a moment, I thought it was a recording of those creepy web kids, but no, the voice wasn't a child. It was mine, my voice, calling out to someone in the dark, whispering, "Are you there?" Like a recording of a conversation I never had. Yet, then something whispered back, "We're almost inside." I slammed the Chromebook shut, but the audio kept going. No device plugged in, no screen open, just sound, like speakers hidden in the walls. A soft knock on the inside of the drywall. I tried to rationalize. Maybe a prank, maybe a hacked speaker, maybe I was losing my mind, until I got the notification, a text message, unknown number, area code, North Pole nights are fun. Attached was a picture, taken from inside my living room, but not like a phone camera or webcam. The angle was almost eye level, but lower, like something about the height of a child had taken it. I zoomed in. In the background, partially visible behind my couch, was a little red fabric, like pajamas. You know, that cheap felt texture you see on holiday costumes at Walmart. Exactly like that. I circled my apartment with a flashlight. Closet, cabinets, laundry room, even behind the fridge like some paranoid lunatic. Nothing. No sign of entry. Nothing missing. But my Christmas box, the one I never unpack, was open. The ornaments I saved from childhood were scattered across the floor. One was cracked. Another one had fingerprints pressed into the glitter. Tiny fingerprints. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room with my back to the wall, watching shadows slide across the window, like someone was walking in slow circles outside. The dolls on the table stayed perfectly still until exactly 3:15 a.m. when my phone buzzed again. A live stream notification. Same dark web link. I didn't click. I didn't have to, because my TV turned on by itself. Static. Then a hallway. Not mine this time, but a hospital corridor. You know the ones. Pale green walls, old tile pattern, buzzing fluorescent lights that flicker even when nobody moves. The camera moves slowly, like drifting forward on its own wheels. Doors lined the hall, each with frosted windows, so you could only see silhouettes inside. Some figures stood perfectly still, others paced. One sat in the corner, like it was waiting for permission to move. And then, one door at the end opened by itself. Inside the room was an operating table, but instead of medical equipment, there were holiday decorations. A red ribbon strung across hanging surgical lights, glitter in shapes of snowflakes glued onto the walls, like someone tried to make a nightmare festive. On the table was a gift box, a big one, wrapped in shiny red foil and tied with a bow. Inside, something moved, slow, like a hand testing how much room it had. Then the whisper again. "He loves surprises." The lid started to lift. I shut the TV off, pulled the plug from the wall, but the picture remained frozen in the black screen, like it was burned into the pixels themselves. And then the voice, louder this time, not whispering, right behind me. "We're closer than you think." I spun around. Nothing there. Just air. But the smell of pine needles, strong and sudden, like someone had dragged a Christmas tree through my hallway and left invisible branches all over the carpet. And that's when I realized something I was too terrified to say out loud until now. This wasn't just a stream, not a show, not even a deep web trap. It felt like a ritual, a countdown, a preparation. Like everything I was seeing wasn't happening somewhere else, but being aimed here, toward me, toward my apartment, my devices, my memories. Like someone or something was slowly rearranging my life into this stage set. And when the knocking started on my bedroom closet from the inside, I knew part 5 was already coming, whether I wrote it or not. The knocking hasn't stopped. It only pauses when I type. I can still hear it now. Slow, patient. I'm scared it's waiting for me to open the door. The knocking from inside the closet stopped around 4:22 a.m., the exact second my phone vibrated. No buzzing, just a silent notification that pulsed across the screen like a heartbeat. It's time. No number, no contact, just that message. And then another, lower on the lock screen, almost like someone else typed it, while the first message was already mid-delivery. Don't keep Santa waiting. The closet door, quietly, clicked. Just a tiny sound, like someone trying not to be heard. I didn't open it. I backed away. I went to the living room, like someone escaping a crime scene they weren't sure they caused. I checked the locks. Every single one was engaged. And still, I felt air movement, like someone walking past me, leaving cold drafts behind. Not footsteps, presence, like breath on the back of the neck, without noise attached to it. I unplugged everything in the apartment. Wi-Fi modem, TV, gaming PC, even my old Nintendo Switch dock. I turned my phone off entirely, battery out, SIM removed, and still the TV screen lit itself. Black picture, white text. Final delivery. Then static, then a camera feed. But this time, it wasn't Santa's workshop. It wasn't room 9. It was a place outside, a parking lot. Dark, deserted, the kind with flickering lights, cracked pavement, pushed shopping carts. Someone never returned properly. A Starbucks, not the one near my campus this time. The one 2 blocks from my apartment. I recognized the weird mural they added last year, after renovation. The camera zoomed in through the front glass, right at the cafe seating area. All the chairs were pulled out the exact same distance from the tables, like someone measured them. And sitting in the chair farthest from the counter, something was waiting. Not a doll, not a kid. A person, dressed like Santa, except the suit didn't fit right, loose like someone borrowed it, sleeves dragging on the floor, hat sagging, beard hanging in uneven strands, like someone had glued random pieces of cotton together. He wasn't moving, not even breathing. He just stared into the camera. Then a second figure slid into view from behind the pastry case. I didn't see it walk. Just enter frame, smoothly, silently. A child-sized shape, wearing red pajamas, head slightly tilted, like someone straining to hear a faint sound. And then another behind that, and another. One by one, stepping out from behind counters and shelves in the back hallway, all wearing matching red pajamas. Too small, too tight, elbows bent wrong, like the clothing wasn't made for them. Dozens, just standing, watching, no blinking. My TV volume turned itself up gradually until the speakers hissed like static, and white noise blended with something underneath, like kids whisper singing a Christmas melody out of tune. Then all at once, the entire group turned toward the glass, facing the street, facing my direction. I ran outside. Stupid. Instinct more than intelligence. I had to see if any of it was actually there, or just in the feed. I sprinted down my hallway, out to the parking lot. Night air freezing, sky starless, like someone shut off the world above me. I reached the corner where the Starbucks sign glowed weakly through the darkness. I expected to see empty windows, a closed store, silence, but I wasn't prepared for what I saw. There, behind the front glass, chairs, pulled out evenly, lights softly flickering like someone left them on deliberately. But no Santa, no kids, just emptiness. Yet somehow, I felt them, like being watched through thick curtains, that pressure on your nerves, like invisible hands on your shoulders, waiting patiently. I hurried back home, locked myself inside. That's when it hit me. They didn't want me to come to them. They wanted me to let them inside. When I got back, the apartment was quiet. Too quiet, until I reached my bedroom door. The closet was cracked open. That's when I saw the light. A faint glow shining from inside the closet, flickering like a candle being shielded by small hands. Except I don't own candles. I heard breathing. Slow, measured, not human breathing. Rhythmic, practiced, like someone exaggerating how lungs should work. I stepped backward, grabbed the doorknob from the outside, and slammed the closet shut. But something pressed gently back against the door. Not hard, soft, like someone touching their palm to it from the inside. Then a whisper. Almost Christmas. I didn't sleep at all. I sat awake until sunrise, waiting, listening. The apartment stayed silent. At 6:41 a.m., another package arrived. No knock, just appeared on my doorstep. White cardboard, black stitching. Only this time, no ticking. Inside wasn't a doll. It was a Christmas ornament. A glass ball. Inside the glass, tiny flakes of white that drifted like snow when I shook it. And printed across the inside surface in tiny letters, "You were a good helper this year." Below that, in microscopic print, so small I had to take a photo and zoom in. Now wait for the next delivery. It's been 3 days. No stream, no messages, no dolls. The closet hasn't moved. But every night around 2 or 3 a.m., I swear I hear footsteps on the roof. Slow, dragging, like something searching for a chimney that doesn't exist. Sometimes I catch a reflection in the TV screen, someone standing behind me for a second too long, wearing red. But when I turn, nothing's there. Maybe the workshop isn't a place you visit. Maybe it's something that visits you, a presence that marks you, waits for the right season, the right night, the right door left ajar. Maybe that's the real deep web horror, how it crawls out of the screen, into your house, into your sleep, until it just lives here, waiting, watching, counting down, until Christmas. Because Christmas is when Santa delivers. That's what he does. And I guess this year, I'm on the list.